Hi, I'm Jeannie Kelly, your credit coach. Thanks for joining me for some credit over coffee. And I wanted to talk with you today about graduation. We are in that season, right? And it's really important credit during graduation time. It's a topic that, I get asked about a lot. And I want to make sure that I'm sharing this information with you. Please like, share, subscribe to my podcast. Definitely for any graduates, let them learn about healthy credit because a lot of times we don't learn about credit until we make a mistake, right? Or when we need credit is when we start thinking about credit. But how about let's make sure we're educating early about building a fabulous credit score. Let's have healthy credit. And you can do this graduation time. So let's say you're graduating high school. If you have any graduation parties you're going to, if you have any children graduating, high school time. And this is important. You want to make sure because 18 years old, graduation, you can get a credit card, you can start building credit. And the reason I want you to build credit is not get into debt, not to have bad credit. The beautiful thing about having a fabulous credit score and to build credit early is so when you need it, you have a great credit score. So when you're building the credit at 18, 19, 20, time flies. So when you start early, 18, with your first credit card and you may need to start with a secured credit card. So let me back up a second. Uh, I am always talking about what's happening in the moment on these podcasts. You know that. And graduation, everyone keeps asking me, when do we start building credit? So definitely as soon as you can. So if you are beginning to build your credit, and you might have to start, if you have no credit at all, then you want to start with a secured credit card. Now, what does that mean? A secured credit card means there's nothing to give you credit, so the bank isn't going to play any risk. So you can open up at a local bank or you can go online and get a secured card, meaning let's say you want to have a $250 or $500 limit, you'd have to put in a savings account that amount, and then that would be your limit. But you have to forget about the money that you're putting away in the bank for that, because often the mistake that happens is that people think, well, I put that 500 in the bank, so when the bill comes, there's that money in the bank. I hear this all the time. So that's why I want to make sure you're listening, that that's just to secure it. The only time that money would be used is if it went into a collection problem. We don't want that. So this is how you do it correctly. Put the money in the savings, and that's going to be your limit when the bill comes in. So purchase things that you would need to purchase anyway. If you're someone who drives, use it at the gas pump, right? You know you have to buy gas, so why not use it with that card? Make sure you save all those receipts in your cup holder. When the bill comes in, check it, right? I want you to check get in the habit of looking at your statement. Make sure every charge belongs to you, right? And the reason I say this is because of identity theft and that it can happen. So if you get in the habit of checking your statements, then as time goes by and as those limits go up and as maybe 5, 10 years go by, you're already in the habit of always checking your statement, because sometimes if something gets sneaked on your statement, you would know it because you're in the habit of doing it because you've done this from the beginning. So let's just say you're using it for gas. Let's say you live in a city for a Metro card, whatever it may be. If you go, obviously you need to eat. So use it for that. Whatever it may be that you're already using your money for, because healthy credit, we don't want to use the credit cards to get into debt for things that we can't afford. We're using the credit card as an investment into our credit future. And that's on your credit report. So I want you to get in the habit of using these cards and then paying them off, and then use it again, and the next month pay it off, and so on. Okay. And that's a secured credit card. And that's where you normally have to begin. And let me give you another idea. In, Instead of just getting a credit card, or sometimes someone will say, well, let me get three of them, which that would be fine. But credit scores like a mix of credit. So credit cards and installment loans, that would just give you a little extra advantage in the long run. So if you can, and if you can afford it, getting a secured credit card is great. And also getting a secured loan. And what a secured loan means is you can pick out, you can say, I want I want to save $300, right? Or $500. I want to put away $25 a month for so many months. So you pick the plan that you want, and you can do this for like a 12-month loan, 24 months. And so what it would look like is you're going to pay it like a bill, but that money would go into a savings account. So every month, let's just say $25. Every month, that $25 would be going into a savings, and you're basically paying yourself, saving for yourself. But that account will go on your credit report as a loan. It's almost like you're borrowing from yourself, right? And so you'd want to do this. Of course, the only reason to do this is to build credit. You want to show that you can pay bills on time. And so you'd have a secured loan and a secured credit card. Beautiful. That's how you begin. Then another option, if you're going to college, you can look into, and this would probably be a few months after you at least have something on your credit report, like those secured loans. You can get a secured credit card. No, I'm sorry, back up, not secured. You can then go get a student credit card. So you can apply for a student credit card. That's a great way to keep building your credit. You can also always build your credit by being an authorized user on maybe your parents' credit card. So, what does that mean? If I wanted to put my daughter on my credit card as an authorized user, that means she's not financially responsible for that bill, but she could get a card in her name. And most creditors, but not all, but a good amount of creditors do report that account on her credit report. So if I put my daughter on one of my accounts, that account, just that account, not my whole entire credit report, but just that account that I added her on will go on her credit report. So it would just show another account. But of course, I would not put it on if it was maxed out. I wouldn't want to be putting my daughter on a charge that's maxed out or having a bad payment history. But if a parent has an account that's a good paying account and has a low balance, that is also a helpful tool to help you build credit. But again, if you do not have that option, you can still do this on your own with the secured credit cards, secured loan. And then in time, I always say you can go for store credit cards. But again, to get even a store credit card, you'd want to show an active open account for over 6 months because FICO will score your credit report. So you will get a grade for how you are paying your bills. So you're thinking graduation, you're done with grades, but you will never be done with your financial report card grade if you're using credit. Okay. So, with that being said, it does take for FICO to score you, to even give you a score, it takes 6 months with one account open. So, after 6 months, then you could apply for a store credit card. Let me tell you another really good habit to get into, a really fabulous financial good credit habit. Looking at your credit report. Get in the habit of understanding, what does my Experian credit report look like? What does my TransUnion report look like? What does my Equifax report look like? You can do this for free by going to annualcreditreport.com. And you can do this and look at your credit reports. And it's really something very good to be doing more often than you think. So, annualcreditreport.com, it does not hurt your credit score when you are looking at your credit report. So, when you apply for credit, yes, that would be a credit inquiry. But when you're looking at your credit, it's a good financial habit to get into. So today, what do I want to talk about? Definitely, I want to talk about making sure you're looking at your credit report. But again, there could be nothing on it right now, right? But make sure you put your reminder on your phone that you want to look at your credit report in 6 months. You want to start building credit because let me tell you, for the parents out there, what's really great is when your kid, let's say they graduate high school and they're going to college. What's great is if they graduate college and then when they're looking for an apartment, they've already built up some credit history with having these credit cards and the credit cards secured, then they're moved to store credit cards. Then, of course, during those 4 years, they could build and get a traditional major credit card that then they have so much on their report. And if they've been paying on time and keeping those balances low, then they should have a pretty good score. And then maybe you don't have to sign for that apartment when they're moving out. Wouldn't that be great? So, again, we just want to not be afraid of credit. You want to know that when it's time that you want to purchase an auto loan or you want to purchase a home. And I know you may be thinking that is so far down the line, but you know what? It might not be that long. And the sooner you start building your credit, the longer to build up that credit score. And credit can either cost you money or save you money. So I wanted to save you money. I want when you walk into a car dealership or to purchase that home, I want you to be able to have options, get a great rate, and not be worried about credit. And if you're learning in advance that you're using your credit just because you want to build this fabulous foundation, just so when you can be approved for those loans that you want, that you're not using credit because, oh, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, I want to go on this vacation, I know I can't afford these things. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about using these credit because you're investing in your credit future. And think of these credit cards as tools and almost think of it like a debit card. You know how with your debit card attached to your checking or savings that if there's no money in there, it's getting declined. You have to think about that when you're building your credit and you're using these credit cards. You're only using them knowing you have the money to pay it next week or next whenever the bill comes in. And a lot of times I just said next week. And that's because I have a lot of young people who ask me, well, can I pay it every week? Well, of course, you can log in to your account every week and pay it every week if you want. If you're afraid of seeing that bill, of maybe too large, if at the end of the month, you can, of course, pay your credit card every single week. Think of it again as a debit card, even though you know it's not, and know that you want to pay it on time. You want to pay it when the statement comes in, or again, you can pay it every week if that makes you feel better and comfortable and get in a good financial habit of never having that bill get too high. You want to make sure you remember to be building the credit, the secured card. If you can, a secured loan. If you only can do one, that's fine. Get the secured credit card. It's okay. After 6 months, what are you going to do? You're going to go to annualcreditreport.com. You're going to look at your credit reports. So then, after that 6, 7 month time, that's when you're either going to get a store card or a student card. Okay. So now let's go down another 6 or 8 months. You can go get another card. Have a couple of cards. Make sure you're paying them on time. And make sure every 6 months minimum you're checking your credit reports. And if you do this by the time, whether if you're graduating high school and 4 years goes by and then you're graduating college, or 4 years of working, graduating high school, and then in 4 years, you know, you're ready to buy that house because you've been working for these past 4 years, whatever it'll be, you'll be ready. You'll be ready and you'll have this good score. And if you are graduating from college, you want to make sure you're looking at your credit reports. You want to make sure you're tracking down your student loans and get on track of putting that budget together. So, any questions, reach out to me. You know, you can find me on Instagram at Credit Jeannie. Please, again, like, share the podcast. And if you have questions, please message me on Instagram because that's where I find most of the questions of what should my next show be about? What is everyone asking about? So the more I hear from you, then the more I know what you want to know about when it comes to credit. And what I want you to know is you've been working so hard to graduate. Let's make sure you continue working hard on learning financial habits, credit being one of the major ones. Credit, you're going to be using credit no matter what, whether you're thinking about it or not. Credit is an important factor of the financial package. So please stay tuned with me and keep learning about healthy credit. And I'm here to answer your questions. Just message me on Instagram. Have a great day.